Hi everyone, welcome to my course CS 111, that's Begin Visual Basic Programming. So we are going to learn object oriented programming, the principles of object oriented programming and the techniques using the Visual Basic Programming language. You will see that during the course we will be doing multiple exercises, the lab sessions, as well as a lot of theoretical exposure regarding the object oriented programming. The question is why we are interested to learn object oriented programming. The reason here is that if you think about everything around us, everything is an object. And like a bank account, this is an object. An object consists of some attributes as well as some functions. So the bank account's attributes can be the account name, the name of the person who is the owner of the account, and the balance. The functions can be transfer, it can be deposit, it can be withdrawal. So since everything can be represented by object, it is often easy to build the software, build the applications for different challenges, for solving different problems by correlating the domains as the objects. We will have plenty of opportunity during this course to discuss about that. Let us go to the modules, and our first module is, let us go to the syllabus first. So this is our syllabus and let's see what is there on it. So we will be discussing about different topics, and you can see the headings here. Now I have not decided on the final exam yet. I will be filling out this final exam schedule pretty soon, but it will happen in the final week uh, of this semester. This is a 3 weeks course, and our office hours, my office hours are like Wednesday to Friday. If you want to connect with me via Zoom after 5 p.m. Pacific time, and you have to make an appointment, send me an email for that. So we are going to uh, achieve these three goals for these three outcomes out of this course: analyze a problem and create a solution using Visual Basic Programming code, and includes the use of control structures, sub procedures and functions. Analyze Basic source code, determine the errors and revise the code so it is error free. Determine the output of a given block of code and or program. This is an online course presented on Canvas, so you should be logging into Canvas and then learn relevant course materials through the modules. Uh, the This is the textbook for our course. It is uh, Microsoft Visual Basic 2017 Comprehensive. So I gave the exact Visual Basic, I mean the course book, all the information here, and you can purchase this book from many sites such as Amazon, as well as some other sites as well. Uh, Basically, you should use your L- LSCC assigned email account for any communication to me. Uh, Typically, if you send me an email, I will give you reply within 24 to 48 hours. Um, Regarding this course, you can also send me the communication via your Canvas email. I'm going to show you how to do that. Now you need a computer, of course, internet ready computer, and then you should be installing Visual Studio Community Education Edition. That is the recommended version. Do not install professional or enterprise versions at all. Um, so there is no need for you to buy any software. That's the main thing here. Now you have, of course, you can use your lab access. For that, you have to reach out to the lab department. Then our coursework, basically we will have discussions worth of 100 points, the lab assignments worth 450 points. You can go through the details about how to turn in your assignments. Then your exams, there will be 2 to 3 quizzes, 150 points each, a midterm exam and a final exam for this course. uh, Late exams will not be accepted, just let you know. There will be opportunities for the extra credits as we go through the course, so just stay tuned for that. Okay. The grading policy, you can see here all the different components of the grading policies. So just be aware of this grading criteria. Now this is basically what is covered in the syllabus. I mean, I encourage you to go through the syllabus thoroughly before you start your course. Now I have given a initial module about getting started yourself. So you have different 14 questions that I put there. Um, be just start answering those questions, and this discussion in this particular module, uh, you will be awarded 10 points if you answer the discussions questions. For the attendance, actually I will be reviewing your discussions, so be sure to every week we will make sure that you will submit a discussion topic. So that's about the first part of the modules. The second part, that is the main part, and before I'm giving you some times before you actually purchase the book. So let us do the Visual Studio installation first as a part of our assignment. So the question is, how can we install Visual Studio? So you can visit the link uh, that I have given on Canvas. So click on this link. That will take you to this website from Microsoft.com, official Microsoft website. Always download software, the Visual Studio Microsoft software, from Microsoft website itself. Do not try to install it from any other sites that may be harmful for your computer. So you should follow all the steps. Okay, so go through, read the steps, and first of all you can download the Visual Studio here by clicking this link under step 2. So here you can see different flavors of Visual Studio: community, professional, enterprise. So this is, you can see clearly, it's for free for students, free for you, open source contributors and individuals. So let us download this one, this particular community edition. That's what we need to download. Let's download. So it started downloading things, and then once it is downloaded you will see something like this, and then you do yes, it goes there. So before you get started, we need to set up a few things so that you can configure your installation, it says. So go to continue. So it is downloading things. So it will take little time. For me it was very fast because I already downloaded some of the components of Visual Studio. So that's why it was fast, but it may not be that fast for you. And there you can follow the recommendations from the Visual Studio website itself, which packages to include. So you can see these are the default installation. Now you can also choose individual components, .NET 6 runtime, .NET 7 runtime, those are recommended. And you can also install the language packs. For me, I'm just installing English. You can of course install anything you want, but English is preferred. So you can see here. Now here you can change your location. Just click on change and you can specify wherever you want to install it. But that's okay. So I put in English here. Then what I recommend you is that you go with the default configuration. That is the best. The If you go with the default configuration, that is the best option for you. And you can see what is included here. You have .NET Desktop Development Tools. We will come into this later in the course. We have believe me, we will have plenty of times to talk about this. Then C# and Visual Basic. We are starting Visual Basic, so it is good. So let's so I just checked remove out of support components. So all of the default components are in support, so we do not need to remove those. Let us install it now. So it is doing installation while it downloads the components. Okay, so it will take little time. As you can see here, it depends on your internet speed. So we are downloading Visual Studio right now. So this is a part of your first week's lab assignment. So be careful about what are you downloading, how are you downloading, so that you understand what you are doing. And always make sure that you don't download Visual Studio Code. That is a different application. That is an IDE, powerful IDE provided by Microsoft, but we will need Visual Studio for our labs. So that's what you need for your course basically. So while it is downloading, let's discuss about what is Visual Studio. So Visual Studio is an integrated development environment, IDE, from Microsoft Corporation. It has been used to develop programs, the applications using websites, web applications, web services, and mobile applications. Visual Studio uses Microsoft software development platform like Windows API, Windows Forms, Windows Presentation Foundation, and many else. Windows, Microsoft Silverlight. It can produce both native code and managed code, the web development and also the desktop applications. The Visual Studio includes a code editor supporting IntelliSense as well as code refactoring. Those are the good add-ons. We are downloading those. So it supports different programming languages. I think 36 different programming languages, like C, C++, Visual Basic, of course, Visual Basic .NET, C Sharp, F Sharp, JavaScripts, and so on. The most basic edition of Visual Studio, the Community Edition, this the one we are using. This is available free of charge. As of, quick quick information, Visual Studio 2022 is a current supported version. It's a production ready version, so you should be using that. And just for reference, the first time Visual Studio was released in 1997. Since then there has been a lot of evolution of Visual Studio, and we are basically using the most advanced version 2022, so that we can do the latest and greatest things with it. Okay, and there is a reason always to use the most advanced software, because all the advanced software packages contain the most up to dated code. Okay, it is sanitized against all the security threats, so it includes all of the most advanced packages, security packages, security patches, so that that you enjoy a secured and most advanced set of tool set for your personal project, as well as, like a lot of enterprises use Visual Studio. So it depends on what type of software development your company is doing. So the reason why I wanted you to start immediately with Visual Studio is that once you are when you are starting, there is a future roadmap, there should be a future vision for you. And since you are studying computer science, maybe um, you will be an aspiring software engineer, network engineer. So what I believe in is that you should be innovating while you are studying. So one of the most important clauses of innovation is using the most industry compatible tools. So that's why I want you to move forward with the Visual Studio from the day one of your course, and just try to learn as much as possible during your first week, because this is the week you have the least workload, because this is an 8 weeks course, so it's an intensive schedule. So this week you will have the least amount of workload, so you will be able to enjoy a lot of learning. Throughout the course you are going to enjoy a lot of learning, but this week it's your opportunity to set up your environment, desktop and laptop or desktop environment, download the software, install the software. And for most of the deliverable, I prefer that you create a screenshot, show the evidence of whatever the lab you are doing, and just submit it. So we are at 56%. So you can see, a lot of packages are being downloaded. So if you click on the release notes, you will be able to see the release note. You can see pause button there. We don't want to pause. And there is another interesting application, web-based application, that I would recommend you to review at this point, is GitHub. So let's go to the GitHub while we are installing Visual Studio here. So you can go to GitHub by clicking github.com. This is the page. This is how it looks like. What you can do, you can sign up. I mean your private email address or school email address, it doesn't matter. So once you create that, I have, for example, I created the username, password, I have an account. So you can sign in and then you can basically create the repositories where you can uh, save your code, the clean code, of course, so that during the interview process, when you will be applying for jobs, you will be able to refer to your code base that you have done. You will be doing this during this class itself. You will be able to do that. So, I mean, basically, with the GitHub, what you have to do here is click on this plus sign and create a new repository. Let us do that. So you can see, once you come to the new repository, you can give a depository name, LSCC test. Let's say this is the name. Let's say it's a public repository. Of course, you want to show this one to the outer world, and then you have to click the add a readme file, uh, that is the directions. Then there is a git ignore file. It will basically, it's an important thing. It will not include lot of unnecessary things from your computer. So let's say Visual Studio. So this is the one we want to use. You do not need to choose any license, and then you can create repository. Once you create the repository, you will see that you have this code base. So this is the location, I mean this is the URL from where you can access the code base. For example, if you want to access the code from any outside place, like for example I put I have opened up the Windows Edge platform. I do not sign into GitHub repository there, GitHub area there. So if I try to find out, let's see if it finds out my software. So you can see that it is able to find out my repository. There is no software inside it. I have to populate the readme files. But this way, actually, this is a nice way. You can use your GitHub repository inside your resume and give reference to your reference of that to your potential employers. So I think it is in an advanced stage. So I mean, let me know if you have any questions about GitHub. We will be using this platform at some point during our course. That's on my wish list. I do not know how we can use it. Maybe we will be able to use some of the GitHub features to to save your code, things like that. So let's see how we can move forward, because I mean the traditional way of zipping the file may not work great for us. I mean zipping the file and including it to canvas. Rather than that, we may end up committing the code to GitHub. So I will be demonstrating that to you later. But let's now focus on the Visual Studio. So here is what, after you installed everything, everything is done. So you will see this particular studio. Then what you can do, you can skip it for now, and development settings you can do Visual Basic. I mean I would do that. You don't need to include anything else. You can do general, that way you will be able to develop everything. Then I'm choosing the blue color. Then I can start the Visual Studio. It will trigger some process, and it says this may take a few minutes, so it's done. I mean it will take larger time for you, because for me it something was already included. So now what you can do here, create a new project. This one, this first, clone a repository, we are not going into that. Open a project, no. Open a local folder, no. Create a new repository, that's what we want to do. Or you can continue without code. So if you do that, you will be landed inside this particular window. Close this what's new thing. So you have a blank studio. Now you can do new project. So it will bring up different things. So we are using Visual Basic. So Visual Basic, you have to type here in the search box. So you can see the first one is the Visual Basic, and let's open it up. Let's open a project like that. So let's say this is LACC code, LACC Hello World. I'm giving it a name, Hello World. It's a Hello World is a benchmark for software development. So let's do this next. Don't do anything to anything else. I mean, just click on next, and you can put .NET 6.0 long-term support. That's fine. Then you click on create. Once you click on create, it will be doing something. It is doing something, creating the project, and you can see there is a test hello world module is gifted to you by the Visual Studio. So you got your first code, right? Then what you should do, you should simply run this code to see how it works, how which way it works. So let's say we have use all these settings, don't change anything, just click on this green arrow. This is the running, this is what constitutes the running of the code. Let's click it. Once you click it, you will find activities. So you see that the console, this is a console app, so your command mode console will pop up with this message hello world. So congratulations, you created your first Visual Studio code, sorry, Visual Basic code using Visual Studio. And what I want you as a part of this lab is first give me a screenshot of this Visual Studio window, and also if possible take screenshots all the way during your uh, installation. Do as much detail as possible, then take a screenshot of this program that was given to you. You can make some changes, right? I mean, you can do hello world, you can give your name. Let us say I put my name here, and then I can run it and I can see my name populated. So that way you can add a lot of varieties. Something else also very interesting, I think we should be able to see the console. Let's see if we can see the console as well. Programs, Windows, where is my console? So I can't see my console. We will talk about it later. So there should be a console actually, uh, where you can see the performance of your program. Anyways, so another thing is that now that you get um, your project ready. So let's see, where is your project? So this is your project, right? So what you can do is that you can publish this project. You can also add it to the Git repository that we just created. I'm just trying to find some way to do that. um, Add no, we don't have it there. Publish, clean, build, and what else is there? Open in terminal, copy full path. So you can do the git changes. So what you can do, create a git repository out of it, here On the right hand side pane you have Solution Explorer and Git changes. So you can do create a Git repository. So the local path is this one, and you can create it out of the Git repository. You can use your account to sign in, so like this. So you can do authorize Visual Studio. So what you have to do, you should go to your website, github.com website, and sign into your GitHub repository. So then you authorize the GitHub. So once you are authorizing the GitHub, it is successful. You can now return to Visual Studio here. So what you can do is basically, this is the repository name. You can create and push. So it is doing that. So it has done it. So now what happens, it staged all the commitments. Now what you should do, you should create a message. You can write initial check-in. This is a sample message here. Okay, so this pane, we are focusing on this pane, initial check-in, and then we can do like this is the master, so you can do push. Basically there are multiple options. You can do push means you are pushing it to the external repository. You have pull means you will get the changes from the external repository. There is no external repository, so we should be doing push. Let's do the push now. So successfully pushed, it is successfully pushed. So if you create a pull request right now, you will see everything. So now you can see that your repository is being created, and see here that you have a lot of different files created here. I mean, those are created by Visual Studio. I have not created anything, so you will do the same thing. And if you see LSCC Hello World, you will see this one, and this you can see that program.vb. This is the program, Visual Studio program. We will be learning how to code in Visual Studio, but this is the program that we have created just now on our Visual Studio, this one. So students, here's what we have learned today's session. That first, we discussed a little bit about our syllabus. We discussed about the expectations around the course, how to reach out to me. I like to be questioned all the time, so if you have any question, please feel free to reach out to me. If you need tutorial, I'm open for that too. I mean, like office hours, tutorial means office hours. If you are interested to do the office hours, I'm open for that too. And then I mean, we learn together two things. Number one is the Visual Studio, how to install it, how to use it, how to write your first code, and then we learned how to do the GitHub. I mean, what I'm planning to do is that during the next part of the course, we'll be trying to use GitHub repository for staging your code base, so that we can study, we can um, convert your zip deliverable file into the uh, basically GitHub, committing to the GitHub repository. Okay, so I mean, I have nothing else to teach you today. So be focused on getting your device set up, read through the Visual Studio, try to go through different settings of the Visual Studio, uh, basically learn as much as you can on GitHub repository, and try to complete this exercise. If you complete just Visual Studio, that will be fine for this lab, but if you do the GitHub, that will be a plus, because you will be equipped with the future opportunities to basically use GitHub to stage your code. Okay, So happy learning, happy coding. Talk to you pretty soon. Thank you. Bye.